Hello, welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. I'll probably do a similar opening that I've been doing lately with a table full of cards on top of this arranged Thunder Force 3, I think, from the arranged CD. Just a couple of welcome back, Transformer TCG fans, friends, and family. So let's roll out and get into it. So I just want to go over 2 new cards, make some comparisons, and then go on to one undisclosed chapter character. So, and of course, all those characters you already know. The videos are back there, are still out there. I've gone over and I'm refining the text of their abilities, etc., etc. They still look the same, they just look better. So let's first look at, let's go over him real quick. Let's go over Teaspoon, Private Teaspoon. It's my joke on what Cup said in season 3. If you know, you know. I feel like I've said this 4 times already. In season 3, he gets him, Spike, Ultra Magnus, the Quintessons steal them, and maybe Cyclonus. They kidnapped him a few times. They're like, what is your naming designation? And Cup is like, my name's Teaspoon and I'm Cybertron's chief dishwasher. I thought it was hysterical back then. It's still hilarious now. And so when I was making these characters, it was one of the few that I actually sort of remade of an original character in a new updated body for the GMC truck. You can obviously see, boom, his alt mode, and he is the chief dishwasher, and he's an Autobot. Oh crap, I didn't write his star count down. He's 7 or 8 stars. So it's up here. I apologize for not having all the one thing that's pertinent. And he's not a very strong character. Like all the other Cups that we had, the very first Sergeant Cup we had, he was sort of the runt of the litter, the joke of all characters, supposedly. So, because he was just kind of weak and he was half vanilla, etc., etc. This one is a little frilly because he is holding a literal dish that says Cybertron on it, I think, in the new font for the Autobot font. That's what I was trying to go to. It might be hard to see. And he's holding a wash rag in the other hand, and he's got a smile on his face. Kind of goofy. But I like it. But that's the bot mode. We're in alt mode. Let's start with alt mode. He's truck. He's melee. I think he's a 7-star. But whatever you're seeing here is what it is. In alt mode, he's an attack of 4, defense of 1, health of 9. His stats are kind of low. But his abilities are not bad. Let's look at this. When he attacks in alt mode, when he attacks with an armor equipped, an opponent scraps an upgrade, or their defender, the opponent has to scrap an upgrade off their defender. I don't have this verbatim down here, it's in shorthand. So is one, this Cup, this Teaspoon has to have an armor on. He needs to be wearing a fork. No, I'm just kidding. He needs to be, have an armor equipped, and when he attacks in alt mode, and his attack is bigger in truck mode. His bot mode's only 3, so as long as he attacks with an armor, your opponent has to scrap an upgrade off the defender. So, tap him in truck, go after a defender with an upgrade, and they're going to have to scrap that upgrade. In bot mode, he's still just melee. Not really. I mean, you can use some of the melee ability cards that can help that. So in his attack comes down to 3 because he's in bot mode. His defense is still 1. When you flip to this mode, you may scrap a green pip card from your hand. If you do, scrap an enemy utility. So that's specific. It is specific, but still, both sides are giving you the ability to scrap upgrades from your opponent's characters. In alt mode, it has to be to the defender. It's like him having an extra armor, sort of ramming it in like ramming speed in a way. And I think the way I've worded this, the opponent has the ability to choose the upgrade. But in his bot mode, as long as you have a green pip card in your hand and you scrap it, then they have to scrap their a utility. You get to scrap a utility from an enemy. It doesn't have to be a defender. You're not attacking or defending. It's just a when you flip ability. Okay, so there is Teaspoon. So, okay, let's look at Lookout Telescope. I almost called this Lookout Mountain, but it's the Lookout Telescope. If you can tell, it's a shot from the '86 movie, and Daniel just doesn't look like he's got a face. It's sort of in that in-betweener kind of cell right there. So maybe I should try to get a bit better image, but for right now, this is what it is. It's a white-orange battle card, and it's a utility with +1 to attack. But Grillenheimer, focus 1 is really low. Yeah, I know, but it's still focus. But put on buildings only. This is the first, and right now the only, battle card that I'm finally giving to a building trait. Because if you notice, it's not really on the mountain. I mean, it was like on an extension on the mountain, but it looks like it's actually on something. And so it may be not really Metroplex or Autobot City, but I'm considering it Autobot City or a part of, jutting out from the mountain that Daniel's using the telescope to look at. So if you put this telescope on one of my building characters, you're going to be able to give focus 1. But dude, acute reflexes, true, but Lookout Telescope has an orange pip on it also. It's orange and white. It's not just white, or is it acute reflexes is just white pip. I thought it was white and green, but it's just white. So you Lookout Telescope may only be able to go on buildings, which is a trait I've created, but it has the orange pip on there too. So, you know, trying to keep things a little low while being a little different. Okay, the last card for today is Noble Sacrifice. This is interesting. This is a lot of text. It doesn't look like it, but once I started writing this down, I'm like, wow. It's blank. It's a blank action card. Okay. I think this is an image from Dinobot in his last episode before he, bit the dust. When your attacker is the only character in the battlefield and not equipped with a weapon, you may put a black pip weapon from your scrap onto your attacker. Now, that's the funny thing here, is that may not really happen. For one, and there's two parts to this action card. We're not done yet, because once you're that far along in the game, you probably do have upgrades on the character. But if you have a weapon and they vaporize it or use some other method of scrapping, I don't know, Teaspoon in alt mode, they just scrapped. I mean, wow, what an example. They knock your weapon off, and you have a character, I don't know, let's just say grapple for the heck of it, like anyone plays grapple that I know of. And he's the only one left, and your opponent just knocked off their weapon, and you have Noble Sacrifice. You have 1 in your deck, and 1. That's a good point. Noble Sacrifice is a blank pip card. You're probably not going to want just 1 of this card in your hand to hopefully eventually get it in your hand by the end of the game, to use it when you have 1 one character on the field, which that is part of this idea. And then, so making sure you have some black pip cards in your deck, like, I don't know, Fusion Boar, into where you can, if they're the only one character, they don't have a weapon, you can play Noble Sacrifice, get it, say, a Fusion Boar off of your scrap, and boom, put it on character. This card is breaking some rules. You're allowing to play a card directly from your scrap onto a character, but they can't have a weapon equipped. Okay, yes, I know I'm reiterating this and kind of beating a dead horse here, but I'm really wanting to, golly, I wish I'd done this in the house, let you understand that. And then, if your attacker has stealth, you may play a secret action for turn. So yeah, this Noble Sacrifice is allowing you to get away with playing 2 cards for free, but there's some stipulations here. It's not a star card. I don't think it needs to be. It's a blank card, so you only probably want one of these in your deck. In the right deck to use this with, because at the same time, you're going to need either a character that already has stealth on it, or something like Stealthiness or Immersed in Shadow, to be able to, if that's that utility is on your character, and you have secret actions in your hand, you got to have a secret action in your hand to do this. So when you play Noble Sacrifice, it's not only going to allow you to play another secret action from your hand as long as that character has stealth in some way, but as long as they don't have a weapon. You see where I'm going with. It's not like you're not KOing off your character. You're actually kind of getting them buffed up to end the game. You're really trying to go all out here. So that's the whole idea behind this. It would definitely an end of the game kind of card. Again, I'm bending the rules a little bit here, but this is just too strong of a card to have any pip colors on it. And definitely a type of deck that you'd want this one blank card mixed in with your secret action cards as well as black pip cards. Like Dan Arnold said, every deck needs 3 Fusion Boars. I don't know what he thinks about that now, probably still so. I haven't seen a video from them on it. Well, they're putting out games in parts of the tournaments that they have, their ATP tournaments. And I've watched about 2/3 of one not too long ago. So they're just not sitting around and talking about the cards much anymore, because they're probably still testing and doing these tournaments and having fun and dealing with kids and young kids and whatnot. And I can understand that. So a lot of neat things here. Just the whole 3 cards, less than 15 minutes. What do you think? Is this worth it? Is this too strong? Again, a lot of my cards are somewhat idiomatic. They may seem strong and you're like, oh gosh, not again. He needs a star on that. We can't have a star on every single card. There's cards that other people make that are homemade that are stronger than my stuff. And I'm thinking, and I'm like wanting to pound sand like Donkey Kong, and I'm just like, okay, that seems too strong. But instead of being able to talk it out and say, hey, can we just not play this card, it turns into, well, wizards only, or homemade or no homemade. There is no in the middle. We can't just ban a card because we're casual. And I'm thinking, okay, we can't talk about this. It's one way or the other, whatever. So I'm trying to just play and test my stuff for the most part. That's why I lose a lot of games. But at the same time, I think these are pertinent. Of course, no one can play Lookout Telescope unless you print out Oh, what did we just go over? Weather Vane or somebody like that. And I'm working on getting a copper. I'm going to add the building trait to copper. So we're going to have the building trait on copper, on Weather Vane. And if I get to it, and I don't know if I want to recolor all my Marina War characters, but maybe waterproof for his lighthouse mode and give him the building trait as well. We'll see. I'm just really tired. Haven't been getting a whole lot of sleep lately. Well, I got some last night for a change. But, and dude, I'm not singling you out. I'm just saying that's how the things that we've talked about so there's that. But, oh, crap. I was going to say something. That's pretty much all I have right now. Oh, the building traits. But yeah, I may, if anything, I might try to go in. Oh, I remember what I was going to talk about. If I get the chance, I've taken pictures of another car. I might make another G1 character and bring him back into. Now, the ARC already brought this character out officially, or unofficially, because their stuff is just solid. It's just, their stuff is just solid, for the most part, for their wave 1. But there's an old character I want to bring back to the forefront and upgrade him into a modern style, and which means I'm back to the drawing board, literally. We'll see how it goes when I get the chance to do that. So I'm going to have to take some lunch hours or something, or some morning time to sit down and start drawing again. And I may actually, instead of just using the picture of the car like I did for the Throttlebots, I may actually draw the vehicle for a change. Try. I'm just not good at vehicles, even though what I drew, even with Teaspoon here, looks good. You know what it is. I surprised myself, Captain. So there's that. But I better go. I've gone over too long. But I got 3 of these that you don't see the D&D versions of Magic anymore. This is going to be probably the end of my Magic buying days. So I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. We got to go over Lookout Telescope, which is an odd name, I know. Noble Sacrifice, which I think should be a fairly working card, even though a little strong. But it's like taking the idea of legacy characters the art brought with characters to an action card that can only be used near end game. And then we went over Private Teaspoon for the fun of it. And the drawing of this Teaspoon is a little, the recoloring was one of my earlier ones. I'm doing better now. I'm not going to go back and touch him up or anything, but I was coloring and shading and using a different method than I'm doing now, which looks a lot better and a little more in line with the 86 kind of artwork, thanks to recoloring or finishing Ultra Magnus's head. I feel I'm repeating myself. I'm sorry. We'll catch you next time. Have not just a great day, but a blessed day, even when it's foggy and rainy. And we'll see you next time. And as always, Autobots, Autobots, let's roll. Yeah.